Hey everybody, it's Dave Stevens, and this is episode number 7. My God, 7 episodes. I mean, you can imagine how much work this is. Anyway, I'm keeping this one pretty short, but interesting. I'm doing a side-by-side acoustic comparison of original vintage ABR1 versus the Replica project I'm working on as like consulting semi-engineer, I guess, reverse engineer guy. And we're almost done. We're just waiting on final saddles. Our original saddles were a little bit too tall, just a little bit. So we just have to get these perfect. So with that in mind, remember, this is a prototype that I'm demonstrating. It's not a final product. The final one's going to have a little bit shorter saddles. So this may affect the degree of how close it can get to an original vintage ABR1. But I got to tell you, doing these tests, I was really blown away by how close this thing sounds to original ABR1s. And also remember that vintage ABR1s don't all sound identical. So the fact that we're able to get this close is just a miracle, really. And I can't wait to have these saddles on these bridges on all my vintage type Gibson Les Pauls, SG, my 335 dot Epiphone, all that stuff. And don't forget that you'll also be able to restore your vintage ABR1s, because we're going to be selling saddles so that you can replace all those saddles that are cut way too deep, or slots that are in the wrong place on the end of the saddle that puts your string like hardly over the pull screw. So that's another great benefit that's coming. So anyway, it's not a real scientific comparison, but you know, also this isn't the final product. So keep that in mind. Once I get a finished product in hand, they're going to send me 2 of them. I'll be doing a final demonstration versus a vintage ABR1, and we'll see what we see. But right now, the 2 I have, one of them is staying in my Les Paul Replica forever because it's just as good, and maybe even tiny little bit better than the vintage ABR1s, but we're not trying to improve anything. We went by the Bible that we wrote ourselves on what those vintage ABR1s are. And every detail of the materials, every tiny measurement, every little bump and wart, it's all there. So I'm still jacked up on this thing. It's really an exciting project. And then in my personal life, I'm back to the skin cancer doctor, and I've got more spots on top of my head, and here and there, and it's not any fun. So remember to wear your sunscreen this summer. Be smart. Then the other big news is that during the frustration of making new covers, Relic covers, I just got really frustrated with it, and I decided I was going to destroy a cover just because I was so mad about this stuff taking forever, 20 years, nonstop. And I tried something crazy, and it worked. And it gave me a solid foothold for making consistent Relic covers that look really good, and that I'm not going to have an 80% failure rate and boxes of ugly Relic covers in the closet. So that's going to speed things up a little bit too, which that's the biggest problem with it, is that it just killed so much time and so little result. So that's a really good thing. So I'm showing some of the early ones that I'm working on. I'm going to branch those out into a little lighter Relic versions and maybe some little more outrageous ones now that I have better control over the process. So I think that's every. Oh yeah. I'm showing a little bit. I'm building a collector set for Strats, using some recently acquired vintage Formvar wire, which is like really rare stuff to find in any kind of usable condition or outside diameter measurements. So I'm going to be building that set this coming week, and next weekend doing a demonstration of it, and then it'll be for sale on Reverb, or you can contact me directly by email if you want to buy it. They're not cheap, but they're, as authentic as you can get. And vintage magnet wire is one of the biggest ingredients in old pickups, all of them from back in the 50s and stuff, because a lot of it wasn't pure copper. It had like 2% impurities, and in an average PAF wine, that's about 200 wines of unknown dead material distributed through the wire. And it has an effect, and I hear it every time I build with the stuff. I just love it. But there's a limited supply, and it's becoming more and more rare to find. So as I run out of it, the prices are going to start to go up, just because there won't be any more ever. And so I have an actual 1958 Stratocaster pickup, and I did a little more research on the black potting wax that Leo used. Why he did it, I'm not sure. I kind of think that maybe he thought by having an outer ingredient of some type of carbon that it would take down some of the treble. Except it doesn't make sense, because Leo loved treble because he was almost deaf, and anything treble he could hear a lot better. So, but I found what he used, and I have a pot of it, and I've been messing around with it. So that's my fun project, my fun pickup porn for this coming week. And anyway, that's all for now. I'm not going to kill myself on this episode. And I've got a new iMac M1 chip coming to help speed up the video processing, because I shoot in 4K and then I downscale to 1080p, because you get better details in the imagery. But it's going to be a month before that gets here, and then I have to set it up, and that's going to be no fun, because I'm so entrenched in this old 2015 27-inch iMac, which it's a real workhorse, and I'll probably keep it up with a new one as a side computer and have them both running different tasks and stuff. So anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoy this one, and please ask questions, make comments, and suggest topics that you would like me to discuss in detail, and we'll do it. So enjoy, and thanks for watching. Thanks a lot, really, for watching my videos. It's fun for me, and it gives me new things to research and do, and this is what I do. I make pickups, and I make them right. So, okay, over and out. So, this is my 59 Replica Les Paul, and I'm going to demo a vintage ABR1, which is right here, hopefully in focus. And then I'm going to vintage. I'm definitely going to vintage. And then I'm going to demonstrate the Four Uncles Replica ABR1 that's coming soon, slowly but soon. It has to be perfect, it has to be right. So the one that I have is a prototype, and it had some rough edges that you won't find on the finished product. And so don't worry about buzzes or any problems like that, except getting a really nice, you know, bright, very clear but warm sound that will give you the same thing you're going to get out of a vintage, very expensive ABR1 that's likely to have saddles that are notched all in the wrong places or cut really deep, and they want a lot of money for those, and they're kind of worthless. You know, if you got a notch all the way at the end of the saddle, what good does that do you? So anyway, this is our project, and this is another peek at what's coming. Okay, so the Four Uncles Replica ABR1 is installed on my Replica Les Paul. So I've got brand new strings on it just to even things out between the comparisons on this guitar. And that's pretty much it. This is a prototype Four Uncles ABR1, and I have notched the saddles. So that evens things out between this one and the vintage. So let's take a listen here. I'm using a Rode lavalier microphone taped to the lens, and it's about 2 hands away from the guitar, so can't talk too loud because I got it turned all the way up. Here we go. And bar chord A to C to D. Bar chords A, C, and D. Okay. Okay. So this is a project in progress. I've got recently acquired a bunch of vintage heavy form var and form var single. So if you know anything about pickups, we're talking Stratocaster. So let's move in here a little bit. Here's 3 Stratocaster pickups. One of them is real. And guess which one? Anyway, I spent some experimentation time on the black wax that you find on these guys. So, and then I've got, well, anyway, it's this one here. If I can get them apart, let go. This is the real one. So you can see that it's got a kind of a matte carbon potting residue on it. And I figured out what he was using. So, and then this is a 1958 Stratocaster pickup. And especially in 1958, they hand filed the bobbin tops to help them fit in the covers. And I don't think they did that in any other year. So, as you can see, I copied that. And I'm going to be winding these pickups and potting them with the black potting mixture. Losing my place here. And these are lacquer dipped as they should be. And they get in close. The magnets are all rounded with bevels the way they did on a stone. And this set will be done sometime in the coming week or so. Sorry with the focusing deal here. It's like uphill battle. Anyway, go over here. There's the real one again. It's hard to actually copy the look of these things, but I do. So there's a coming collector set, and it's going to be for sale, probably on Reverb or direct through this YouTube video series, because these guys take a lot of money to host your sale, and that's, you know, you lose like $200. And anyway, that's what's going on in my little world of building replica stuff. And the old wire doesn't sound anything like modern heavy form bar does. And it's really rare to find this stuff, and recently I got a few rolls of it in usable diameters, I hope. Some of the original Stratocaster pickups only measured 5K, mostly because of the wire was thick. And so I haven't wound with either of these coils, or these 3 coils actually. And so it's going to be a test to see how they come out. And then hopefully next week I'll be doing a demonstration of the set. And if you're in love with it, and you want a real old Stratocaster sound without buying, spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, whatever they go for. They aren't cheap, and in fact they're almost impossible to find. So keep an eye out for that. I don't think I'll be able to get the replica set built and installed by then, but it's coming, and it'll be available immediately as soon as the video demo is finished. So there you go. Just for fun, here's one of my collection pieces. This is a Red Rhodes velvet hammer, and you can see how he did the coils and put it all together. It's got this four conductor, huge ceramic magnet, really fat braided poly shielded cable. I have a lot of stuff like this laying around. Maybe now and then I'll just pop one of them out. This is I forget who was famous. Oh yeah, Joan Jett loved this pickup. She used it. People that want to get her tone seek these out and buy them. So I might even sell this one if there's anybody out there interested in it. It's in brand new condition. Back from the 70s, I think it was. So while we're waiting to change out these the ABR1 bridge, last weekend I had a really amazing breakthrough, and it was in my process for making Relic covers. And I was able to finally, after 20 freaking years, standardize a method of making good-looking Relic covers that don't have a 80% failure rate. This is just driving me crazy for years and years and years, that my processes would work really well, but they'd only work about 20% of the time. So I have all these failed pickup covers laying around here that I wouldn't send out because they just didn't cut it. So I had an epiphany in the garage last weekend, and this is what came out. So this should speed my build time up a little bit. And here's a few of them from the same batch. They just look really good. very uniform. So I'm playing with how shiny to make them. So it's an ongoing process. This is a previous method, and it just gets out of control too fast, and you end up with this really beat to hell look that most people are afraid of. Well, I don't want that on my guitar, it looks too old, you know. But some people liked them, but most didn't. And I like it. I personally like this one a lot. And this is another old process. And I like this one a lot too. It's just radical, you know. It kind of makes your guitar identifiable if it ever gets stolen. Because, you know, these covers are individuals. They're all different. So anyway, that's been a truly wonderful thing. And after 20 years, my God, the number of failed covers I made was just killed me. So anyway, that's really exciting. And when you order yours, you're going to get these good ones.